going on, guys? This is Cam from SolveX Media, and in today's video, we're going to be looking at the conversion framework that's responsible for getting our stores to convert 286% higher than industry averages. So if you are looking for tried and true principles that you can apply to your website, to your landing page, to your sales page, any sales mechanism you use, listen in. So guys, to go from a $20 CPA to a $15 CPA is typically much harder than going from a 3% conversion rate to a 3.75% conversion rate. We live in a world where the cost of traffic every single year is only going to go up. And that's something you have zero control over. But what you do have control over is the rate at which you convert visitors into paying customers. So for us at SolveX Media, when we craft out these sales mechanisms, we're looking for principles that are scientifically backed to take the most amount of people from unaware to becoming raving fans of your products and services. So in today's video, we're going to be looking at MECLABS Conversion Framework. Now, when we look at this formula, it comes down to literally 4 elements and 4 elements only. And if you guys understand this and understand the psychology and how you can apply it to your sales mechanism, the sky is the limit. So when we look at the C, which is the conversion, this is basically the likelihood of conversion. M stands for motivation. V stands for value proposition. I stands for incentive. F stands for friction. A stands for anxieties. As a framework to craft out sales mechanisms that convert like crazy. The variance in the conversion index are not treated equal. Some matter more than others. For example, visitors' motivation is the most important variant. This explains why it has the highest multiplier at 4x. The better you can hone the motivation, the higher the conversion probability, and the higher multiple simply means higher impact. So buyers' motivation today can be attributed to several factors. Regardless, they are all narrowed down to your potential customer. Some factors that impact your buyer's motivation include the stage they are in the sales cycle, the source of the traffic, buyer's pain points, their urgency, and how a product or service is to them. Now, when we look at this, we have to ask ourselves, how, as conversion experts, can we increase the buyer's motivation? Now, there are 5 ways we've identified to doing just that. 1, list segmentation or traffic segmentation. This can help you personalize your product and services to a specific group of leads. So for example, when you try to sell to everyone, you sell to no one. So really getting narrow and understanding where your traffic, where your audience is coming from is going to give you an unmatched ability to communicate. 2, proper lead nurturing. A good lead nurturing system can prepare a buyer for a sale that is currently in the decision-making process. If we follow the rule of 7, that simply says you need to interact with someone at least 7 times before they know, like, and trust you. You're going to need a lead nurturing system in place. 3, getting higher quality traffic. There's so many different traffic sources today, guys. There is a traffic supermarket, and as long as you're willing to spend, you will get clicks. Now, in terms of traffic, some is going to get you better results in certain niches, certain products, and whatnot. But ultimately, the quality of traffic comes down to how targeted your traffic is. 4, creating genuine urgency. We've seen all those slimy pop-up banners and those countdown timers that people incorporate within their sales mechanism. But guys, today, the end user is much more sophisticated. So if you're going to use something that doesn't have genuine urgency associated to it, people will smell that out from a mile away. And 5, my favorite, reviving buyers' pain points. So this could be through your copy, throughout any of your marketing collateral, whether it's your sales page, your email, your landing page copy. You're going to need to speak to people's pain points, because since the dawn of time, people are very, very responsive to when they understand, hey, I have this particular pain, and this product/service can bridge the gap between where I'm currently at to where I want to be at. And people today want to be at a point of satisfaction, not pain, not fear. Now, moving on, we're going to be talking about value proposition, which is the second element to the MECLABS conversion framework. Value proposition is the primary reason why your ideal prospects should buy from you rather than your competitors. You need to be painfully familiar with the value behind your offer, but you'll also need to articulate that value to your target audience. The force of the value proposition is ultimately the factor that sets you apart from everybody else. Basically, a buyer should answer the question, why they should buy from you and not anybody else. Now, these are 4 factors below that can either increase or reduce the force of your value proposition. Appeal, exclusivity, credibility, and clarity. Appeal. How much do they desire or like your offer? Is this something that gets them super excited to act then and there? Exclusivity. Are there other places where they can get this offer? Or are you the only place offline that they can purchase from? 3, credibility. Can you be trusted? Right? You're making a lot of claims about your product and services, but is there truth behind what you're saying? 4, clarity. This is my favorite. Get super specific and show people exactly what they're going to be getting. Make sure the terms are clear. Make sure your messaging is clear, because a lack of clarity brings uncertainty, and uncertainty costs you a lot of conversions. So moving on, the question is how to increase the force of your value proposition. This is the second element to the conversion framework, meaning it has the second highest multiple. First, you can increase the appeal of the products and services that you're actually putting out. And this is done by investing more time and resources on the product and service itself. The better the product, the more appeal it has. Look at Apple, look at Tesla. They focus on creating an innovative product, constantly creating iterations on top of it to make it better and better. And that's why the product sells itself. Two, give users a unique reason to buy from you as opposed to everyone else in the marketplace. This is simply done by having a killer offer, an offer that's unique to you and you only. Three, be highly credible. You need to use all the credibility you can to get that competitive advantage, customer reviews, success stories, social proof, de-risking elements. And four, be crystal clear. The more clarity you provide, the more you eliminate uncertainty, and that's going to get people to act then and there. Now, moving on to incentive minus friction, which is the third element of MECLABS Conversion Framework. You are basically trying to make it as easy to buy as possible. And how do you do this? By increasing incentives and reducing frictions. Now, if you're not using an incentive, you're leaving money on the table. An incentive is basically an appealing element that you introduce to stimulate a particular action. An effective incentive could be a visual that reinforces the value of the offer itself. Now, in the conversion process, friction is basically considered a cost factor. Other cost factors include resources spent to actually deliver the product or service. Now, friction is regarded as a cost factor because a potential buyer must loop through it via the sales process for the conversion goal to be achieved. So, for example, on a website, if you have many forms or a long sales process, they're not going to want to go through all those steps. If you want to make it, your goal really is to make it as simple as possible for someone to go from point A to point B, from unsatisfied to satisfied, from pain to gain. And if you can do that in the simplest way possible by increasing incentives and reducing friction, you're off to the races. Now, friction can be divided into two categories: length-related friction and then difficulty-related friction. Length-related friction refers to the difficulty one has because of a long buying process, more information you require, quizzes, anything that a buyer would simply deem as unnecessary. Difficulty-related friction refers to the components of a website that make the buying process difficult or complicated. This can refer to the elements in the buying process that require huge amounts of effort. The incentive is a positive component in the heuristic. It is basically counteracting any friction that you cannot remove. How do you increase incentive and lower friction? This is very, very important, guys. One, you want to simplify the checkout process. Look at Amazon. They have that one-click checkout. It was a complete game changer for Amazon as a company. The better the experience for the shoppers, the likelier they are to purchase. Two, build easy to understand sales mechanisms. Everything should be straightforward. Everything should be concise. You need to show people how to go from, once again, unaware to becoming a raving fan of your products/services. Three, optimize for mobile and tablet experiences. 75% or 78% of users today are on mobile, so it's very, very important that you provide a completely different experience on those channels as opposed to, say, browser. And four, have an incentive that a buyer highly desires and values. If possible, its perceived value should be higher than the actual cost itself. That's how you're going to get people to act, and that should be your only goal. Now, moving on to anxiety, which is the fourth and last element of MECLABS Conversion Framework. This is really designed to relieve and correct anxiety. Anxiety could be the uncertainties, the objections, and the perceived risk one has. Basically, the psychological concerns that are stimulated by a given element in your sales process. As a marketer, as a conversion expert, as a web designer, you must mitigate anxiety in the minds of your visitors. For example, if you can provide them reassurance by guarantee, or you can let them know that the site is SSL protected. This is basically showing, guys, our company is reliable, and that in itself is very, very important because everyone has thoughts, feelings, needs, and desires. And when there's a product or service being offered to a prospect, they have a bunch of questions, right? So this is basically the psychological concern that occurs in a prospect's mind. And this is very, very serious stuff. And if you don't answer some of those concerns, now, how do we reduce anxiety? Well, we have to create a high quality sales mechanism that answers each and every objection one has. We need to make sure the site has high security and let people know that, look, your credit card information is going to be safe. Three, have guarantees. You want to offload the risk to a potential buyer, 30-day, 60-day money-back guarantee. Four, have great warranty terms. Let the buyers feel safe buying from you. And then for certain offers, free trials and free forever plans just to get people in. And once they actually can trust you because you've given them some type of value, from that point on, you can go on and sell them a higher ticket item. And this brings me to my next slide, which is copywriting techniques to actually reduce anxiety. compare apple to oranges in your sales page, in your email copy. For example, look, guys, the price of this particular product is less than a cup of coffee for 20 days. It gives them the idea that, look, it's really very cost effective if you conceptualize what you're paying for some of your basic necessities. So that is very, 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 very powerful to reduce anxiety. And the second component is change the perception of the sale. Turning a worst case scenario to a lower risk rational scenario is very, very important. For example, let's say, guys, you're wrong. You're going to lose $60 worth of, say, your monthly subscription. But if you're right, this product will revolutionize your day-to-day life, or it will reduce your back pain for the rest of your life. That is very powerful because now people are like, look, the pros outweigh the cons. Let me act. And that's it, guys. That is MECLABS Conversion Heuristics framework, a framework that is responsible for helping millions of people across the world get to a point where their conversion mechanism is generating a lot more business. Find ways to incorporate particular elements of this framework into your sales mechanism and watch your conversion skyrocket. Now, if you guys are looking for help building a sales mechanism that is optimized for the most amount of conversions, feel free to reach out to me personally, and we'll see how we could be of immense value. That's it for me, guys. This is Cam from SolveX Media. See you on the greener side.